As far as we know, from all of the additional angles that have come out, from everything that has taken place, down to the fact that this cop was not actually in fear for his life, I'm going to show you this angle that we hadn't seen yesterday. Video of the Minneapolis ICE shooting completely contradicting ICE's account that the driver was trying to ram anyone. Looks like they were turning around to leave and immediately lit up. So what takes place here, we've seen the main video, right? But we had not seen this angle before. This is the guy who is actually the person who ends up, the ICE agent who ends up murdering. Jonathan Ross is his name, for the record. This is Jonathan Ross. He was dragged in a separate incident last year by a fleeing driver, according to court records. Jonathan Ross is here. He has a phone camera. He has his phone out, filming people, and you'll see in a second. Look, on his right hand is his phone. He's filming people. He's fixing his mask up. And if you notice something, if you've seen the original video, you already know this, but Renee Good is in the car. Renee Good is in the car. She's trying to move the car. But because there are a lot of there's a lot of commotion. There's a lot of commotion going on as you can see, the car is already moving here, right? Look. She'll move forward a little bit, but then ICE agents in separate vehicles get in front of her. She, from the other angle that we've seen, waves them away because she's very clearly trying to leave. Okay? She stops right here. First car goes, and you can see her waving them away in the first video. Then this pickup truck that is an unmarked pickup truck with lights on also comes through, and she's still waving them away, but it stops. Instead of passing her and then letting her merge into the lane and leave, the pickup truck stops. They get out of the truck. Two ICE agents get out of the truck and instantly start yelling at her. One is they've already very clearly given her the order to leave the area. But this one dipshit runs in and tries to get her out of the car. She backs up, and then while she's turning around, the first shot is fired. And then the second and third shot is fired, ending up killing Renee Good. And for the record, he still has his phone. That's footage. That is footage. That will be evidence. He had his phone in his hands. And these guys want to tell you, these guys want you to believe that this dickhead who was running around with his phone in his hand, filming everything, was actually in fear of his life. These dickheads want to tell you that the first shot that was fired when the car had actually passed them, was a totally justifiable shot. The second shot was shot behind Renee Good. The third one as well, when the car had long passed this person. And these guys want to tell you, these guys want to have you believe that what you saw with your own two eyes is actually a lie, and that you should listen to their narrative instead. We're not doing that. We're not playing that game. And yes, I will be going into the video that the New York Times put out that contradicts the Trump administration's account on the ICE shooting in Minneapolis, because after, as I explained to you yesterday, after Renee Good was shot and killed in broad daylight, ICE agents stop a physician that is walking around from actually going to her and rendering aid. They tell her that they have their own medics coming. But because they have blocked the road, the ambulance can't even get near the car. So the EMTs come later to pick her lifeless body up. And before she is even transported to the hospital, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, dog killer Kristi Noem, comes out and says that she was a domestic terrorist. Think about how disgusting this is. And the American government has been doing this to American citizens, but oftentimes the American government has done this to Black American citizens, brown American citizens, indigenous American citizens. This time they're doing it to a white woman who's 37 years old. As someone who's, been doing this advocacy, as someone who has been communicating with organized for a very long time, for the last 10 plus years of my political commentary career, I can tell you the first people that knew this, the first people that understood that state violence that justifies executions in broad daylight about white people is state violence that definitely does not give a shit about anybody else. So the very fact that this is becoming a national story and the American government's first inclination is to try and tar and feather this victim as a domestic terrorist means that there is definitely an attitude shift taking place. It means that none of you are safe. If you thought that the color of your skin would save you in this circumstance, you are wrong. You must immediately drop this notion. It's us versus them. You are not a part of the team. No matter how hard you champion this violence and think this state has your back, you can be an unintended victim. And then the government will turn around and call you a terrorist. It's that simple. Unless you are a pedophilic elite that has been on the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs, you're not part of the in-group. You will not be sheltered from this violence. And it can take your life just as easily as it took Renee Good's. Now let's take a look at the New York Times assessment contradicting the Trump administration's account of the ICE shooting in Minneapolis.
On Wednesday, in Minneapolis, a federal agent fatally shot a motorist, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots fired because the officer was...
Yeah, this is, by the way, another piece of evidence that contradicts the narrative that, like, the person was straight up in front of the car. If you notice the angle of this shot, if this is the entry point of the first bullet, then it directly contradicts the idea that, like, this was actually someone who was in front of the car
being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots.
Yeah, look, both of his feet, when he fires the first shot, both of his feet, the shooter's feet, are completely out of the direction of the car. Both of his feet. He still has his phone in his hands. And they want you to think a 37-year-old woman in a Honda Pilot with plushie toys in the glove compartment is the real domestic terrorist, is the real threat here. Yes, here are some facts. 1, Renee Good did not block traffic. If she had, we wouldn't literally see multiple ICE trucks drive by her before the murderer showed up. And she was literally waving them to pass by. Number 2, blocking the roadway is at most a traffic moving violation, not a criminal offense that justifies murder especially. Number 3, ICE does not even have the authority to manage traffic violations without local police departments present. And number 4, even if she had committed a traffic violation, it does not require capital punishment. You're absolutely correct. Every part of this story is wrong. Every piece of defense here is wrong. Let's continue.
At close range.
Buddy, she wasn't waving traffic by. Look at her brake lights. Brother, it's going to be quite difficult for us to have a real conversation if you are going to deny what you can see with your own 2 eyes. The longer footage absolutely shows her waving the cars to pass her as she's literally in drive. All of the eyewitnesses have also stated that she was trying to get out of that area and was receiving contradicting commands from the law enforcement officers, as is the case. A lot of you are new to this, and perhaps you might not have been around for the case of Daniel Shaver. Daniel Shaver in Arizona. It is almost an identical situation where a white victim was given contradictory commands, and in that confusion, his death sentence was signed off by the cop. Cop told him to keep his hands up and also crawl on all 4s and also to keep his legs crossed, and then he killed him. Yeah, this happens all the time. It's far too common, and there were plenty of people that defended it back then as well.
Here's how events unfolded. Moments before the shooting, the victim's maroon SUV is stopped in the middle of the street. Multiple unmarked federal vehicles are idling nearby. Secretary Noem alleged the motorist, quote, was blocking the officers in. Bystanders are blowing whistles and yelling at federal agents.
Go home to Texas!
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the maroon SUV, with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene.
Look, she's already in drive. You see that? Before the incident, she's not only waving them to pass, but then after the first car moves in front of her and leaves, she's literally driving. She's driving away from this scene after the first car passes. If you notice, right here, I'm going to do it frame by frame. Do you see that? She's in D. This is before. She waves the first car to pass. First car passes. She's also already in a driving motion, indicating that she is ready to leave. Okay? Then the second pickup comes in hot. She stops because she doesn't know if the second pickup that has ICE agents in it is going to pass her or is going to stop here. The second pickup stops instead of passing her as she's waving them off, and the ICE agents get out of the pickup.
The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then stops and waves for others to go ahead.
Yeah. Do you see that? You fucking assholes. They were conducting a felony stop at that point. She can't just decide if she wants to leave. Was she going to come back and pick up the wife that was filming? Most likely. She's probably trying to move the car out of the way. But no, they were not conducting a felony stop at that point. You cannot, there is no felony. You can't just decide as a cop that, not even a cop, as an ICE agent especially, when you're not local law enforcement, you can't, like, you have rights as a citizen. And I think many Americans don't realize this. Why are there so many videos of like, First Amendment auditors and that get into altercations with cops? Why are there so many like super viral videos out there of people just being like, I don't have to give you my identification at all, actually. You have to give me like just cause. Blocking federal enforcement in the course of their duties is a felony? No, she's not even doing that. You just watched her literally wave agents off as she moves into D. Like she's rolling forward, indicating that she is leaving. None of these agents are blocked in. That's precisely the reason why they're able to leave. Not only that, but even if she was blocking the street, she still, the death sentence, the judge, jury, executioner in the situation is not going to be the ICE agent that decides to murder her. So even in the maximalist guilt that you are trying to imply here to justify the state-sanctioned execution, you're still in the wrong.
Is for others to go ahead. Two agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely. This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent.
Also, you have to take note of when he pulls his weapon out as well. He pulls his weapon out while she's backing up. Very clearly, if she wanted to kill that person, she wouldn't be reversing, okay? She'd be going forward. She's reversing to leave, listening to the prior commands that were given to her. It is a chaotic environment where there are contradictory commands being given to a person with people who have guns out. People who don't, like with law enforcement that actually does not have the legal right to stop you like that, okay? None of this is a justifiable detainment. I need you to understand, not a single part of this is correct. Not a single thing that the ICE agents did here is even appropriate by law enforcement officer standards. And you'll see a lot of like ex-cops and former ICE agents that probably come out and speak on this as well. And I'm sure there will be plenty of people who will try to justify it as well in the law enforcement community. But the reality of the matter is the murder is completely unjustifiable. And there is no amount of defensive posturing that will make it seem like this was an appropriate thing to do in this moment. It is ridiculous.
This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle.
Yeah.
And it's true that at this moment in this grainy, low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV.
Yeah, like there is barely any contact even in that video. There's barely any contact even in that video, and you can see the agent's feet. You can see his foot positioning. I cannot believe that this is the reason why people justified this.
But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV. The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road. A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle. Seconds later, he turns back around and tells his colleagues to call.
Yeah, he has his phone out. He literally has his phone out, and he's walking. He's walking with his phone out, dude. Does this look like a man who was in imminent harm? You can't delete that video, by the way, from your phone. If you were filming that footage, good luck. Deleting that footage from your phone is not going to actually delete it from the hard drive. Obviously, because it's law enforcement, I'm sure they've already fucking wiped it to the best of their goddamn ability. But I hope that they can actually extract that footage from the metadata. Isn't that crazy? And there are still people who look at this and go, nah, dude, like, I can't possibly see myself or a loved one in the shoes of the victim here. I have to fantasize about being the cop and being fearful. I can see myself as being a fearful cop in this circumstance and shooting and killing someone and getting a possible legal kill out of it than seeing myself as, or a loved one as the victim in this circumstance. It's nuts.
And tells
like, he didn't even drop his phone. He pulled out his gun with his left hand, or he had the phone on his left hand, and he pulled out his gun with the right hand. And while he was filming, he dropped 3 bullets into that car. The first from the side of the windshield, and then the second and third shot long after the car had passed from the open window. I cannot believe it. Here, the body is shown here, so I'm not going to show you.
Shame! You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I go check a pulse!
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
I don't care!
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene.
It's completely ridiculous that there are people out there who are, trying to hit this like partisan angle on a situation that's like very clearly not supposed to be partisan at all. Like, if we cannot, as a society, arrive at the conclusion that a 37-year-old woman in her own neighborhood should not be assassinated by an ICE agent who's hopped up on fumes because she happened to be in a car in the vicinity of an ICE agent, getting contradicting and conflicting information and conflicting commands from all these other people. If we cannot agree on that, we can't agree on anything. It's over. And then instantly she's called a terrorist. This is yet another turning point, in my opinion. In my estimation, this is another turning point. We have now arrived at yet another turning point where from this point on, there's going to be people who are slotted in to the assumption that no matter who the state kills, even if it's their grandparents, they'll be like, nope, well, they probably deserved it. What was grandma doing? Victim blaming every step of the way.